world.
Welcome to the Wincinnati podcast. I'm your host, Ace Boogie, joined by my co-host, Zim. Zim, what's up, bro?
What it do? Back in the winner's circle where we belong, my friend. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing great, bro. I mean, obviously we geeked up from the game. 2 great games where the Bengals went over 30. We got a lot to talk about on today's show, mainly the Falcons. We're going to get into some questions from you, the fans. We're going to talk about, was that the best Joey throw ever? We're going to talk about it all coming up next on the Wincinnati podcast. All right, first up, the Bengals beat the Atlanta Falcons 35-17. This one was nasty, bro. It was nasty. I mean, we were pretty much coasting from the moment that the game kicked off. You see Joe come out, hit TB in the scene with a deep bomb. They called him butt booty open naked. Yeah, it was nasty, bro. It was on to the races from then on. The Bengals ended up having 4 scores on 4 drives. They went up 28-7 at one point. The offense is humming, bro. We talked about it. We've been waiting for it. The Bengals from last year are back. Joe is now cooking again, finishes with nearly 500. The defense is still cooking. There's a lot of stuff to take away from this. What did you take away from this game, bro?
Man, I thought that the defense balled out like at a different level. As far as like the first half goes, I know they relinquished a couple runs, and I just feel like it's almost like a boxing fight. A guy's going to hit you with some of their best punches. How do you react to it? They took them shots, and it is what it is. And if you really look at this game, the defense put on a clinic on run defense, and then they forced Mariota to throw the ball, much like how they made Ryan Tannehill throw the football in the Titans game, right? So you stop the run like that on that level. This is a team that was number 1 in rushing DVOA coming into the game, averaging like 160 yards a game. They end up with like 106. What's up, Davis Martin? And I just thought like that's one thing. I just thought that they were dominant. Tufele filling in, like why you don't get these injury conversations from a lot of people is because the guys that are backing them, the front office has done its thing at different times, whether it was last all season, whether it's a waiver wire pickup. Tufele was our number 1 rated defensive player, number 1 overall player by PFF grading system this past week. They ball out, do that. So then we get back to the offense. The offense playing with a lead is the most dangerous, scariest thing in the NFL, bro. Like there are teams that are really, really good at the top. I understand that. I know that those teams they rather throw. I think the Bengals coasted throughout the whole entire game. First 4 possessions, 4 touchdowns, cooked on every single level that you could, and were gracious enough, even at the end, 9 minutes left in the game. We're just going to run the football, run down this clock, take it down to the 4-yard line. And instead of running up these crazy college scores, we're just going to kneel it out. Because somebody say, like, man, y'all even the Chiefs scored 40 points. I'm like, bro, Joe Burrow threw for 481 yards. Norm Brock and whatever the heck dude from the 1950s with the record of 500, whatever, something yards, Joe Burrow could have easily broke that record. I hope everybody understands that. And I just thought they put on a clinic. I thought Joe Mixon has 100 overall all-purpose yards in that game. That gets lost in the sauce because he's just like that icing on a cake that people aren't understanding, that these teams that they value a lot don't have that in their bag to go and close out a game in the manner that we do. So they're forced to throw the football a lot of times in their circumstances. And I just thought that they played a really good game. Had they not given up the big, deep touchdown that I think is 100% on Eli Apple, but it looks like he has inside help, then the special teams gives them an extra 3 points. So now we're talking about this game could have easily been 42-7, like something crazy wild like that. That's how dominant that game was. And
I think it should have been 42. The way these Falcons fans are talking after the game, we have practice squad DB. We don't care about none of that. None of that matters because you didn't have practice squad running backs. You didn't have backups and all of that on your offense. You had Marcus Mariota. He was Marcus Mariota. We kept him out of the end zone. You had Kyle Pitts, who's a stud that you drafted 4th overall. Guess what? Awuzie met him at the line and kept him out of the end zone. You had everything that you needed from your offense to happen. What happened? The Bengals just shut it down. And guess what? We had our backup linebackers. We had our backup defensive tackles. We were missing DJ Reader, Logan Wilson, two of the best guys from our defense, and we were still there for you. You didn't run for 200 on us. You barely got 100. You only got about 20 yards in the second half. So when you talk to me about the fact that you were missing some guys, I don't want to hear it because everybody's missing some guys, including us at this point. For him to throw 500 yards and throw for 82% completion rate, that is insane, bro. I said this on Twitter. I don't care if we were going against a high school team. That is impressive. That is not normal. I talked last week about his adjusted completion rate being plus 10. Bro, it was plus 14 in this one. It was nasty. Joe Shiesty is back. It's been a lot of talk about regression. There's been a lot of talk about this Bengals offense not being able to cook. They showed up. They cooked. They're here. And if you don't believe in them and you doubt them, I don't think that there's too many doubters anymore. It was a lot of people. I didn't hear any Bengals jabs or anything. I really didn't hear a lot of people talking about the Bengals. Why? Because they were wrong. We told you about Hayden Hurst. We told you about the Migos. We told you about Jamar Chase, who y'all thought was going to have a sophomore slump. Guess what? Nah. We told you about Tyler Boyd. Oh, Tyler Boyd's really not that good. Really? 160 yards in this game. Looked pretty damn good to me. So the Bengals are back. We're ready to cook. This is what we needed to do. This is a game that we finally had where we weren't having to trail in this game and come back. Like Zim said, the defense showed up. They balled out. They did their thing. Shout out to Akeem Davis-Gaither. Cam Taylor-Britt got some much-needed reps. He's in there now. That's another weapon on defense. Joseph Osai with his first sack of the season in this game. That spin move, that's one of the nastiest highlights in this game. Bro, the Bengals are here. You better get ready. You better start believing because this team is just as good as the Buffalo Bills. They're just as good as the Kansas City Chiefs. And when they're clicking, I don't even think we've ever seen them click on both sides of the ball like they did in this game. Usually it's the offense one game, the defense one game. They were both clicking on all cylinders at the same time in the game. And when you see it, it's scary. Joe Burrow, we're going to get into some of the stats later, but just know number 9 is definitely back and we ready to cook. Yes, sir. So what we want to do next is y'all. We want to interact with y'all. Throw us some comments in the chat. Make sure that you subscribe to the Wincinnati podcast, the Wincinnati YouTube channel. Leave us a review as well. We got some other shows that do some great things, primarily the 513, the new Wincy, Bengals Post, who you guys will definitely be looking to hear this week. But look at that, Zim. Joseph Osai, bro. The spin move was nasty.
We tried to tell him about Joseph Osai. He's back. Akeem Davis-Gaither, he's back. Joe Bocci got a couple snaps in there. I mean, the team is starting to form. You know, everybody has these points in the season where they start to, you know, kick it into another notch. And I just feel like the Bengals 100% are hitting their stride. I'm turned up watching you turn up on them people because honestly, it's like I feel like we packed them up so crazy and got them up out of there. Like, you know, I got taken off a little bit. Like the momentum kind of shifted because these Brownies been trying to take a lot of my attention, and I really didn't even get into the whole celebration of like, bro, this is a big win. Don't let nobody try to limit or diminish your wins. If we have injuries, they don't care. They don't give us context. So we don't care about this. Respectfully, get your front office together. Tell them to get their roster together. Get your depth together because we ain't hearing it. We don't care. Straight up.
All right, so we got some reactions here. Our main man, Luther Vision. Greg Luther, what's up, bro? The O-line is secretly getting better and better. Do you agree? Zim, what do you think? Because I think that this O-line is getting better.
I think so too. And one thing that helps them out a lot too is the quick game. And it was a couple different times in this game where they lined up so fast. And what you'll see is a lot of times defenders, without looking ahead, even the elite ones up front, they'll stop and Carlos Dunlap does this really, really well. Sometimes you don't get home, you just start putting your hands up. And I remember it was a point early in the second quarter of that game, and they just started putting their hands up and they weren't getting home, and that's when you knew. And when you think about their sacks, Grady Jarrett gets one. The other two were manufactured blitzes where you're asking the guy to pick up a guy or something like that. The offensive line held serve, and I just think for like, what is that, 3 weeks straight where I think that they look really good. The Ravens game was a little shaky at the beginning, but man, that Saints and that Falcons, I mean, they pitched like pretty much 2 damn near shutouts. And if you're saying you want Burrow to excel, there's an argument you could be better than that. Like you do need that big Andrew Whitworth left tackle, but for currently right now for NFL pocket, giving your quarterback a chance, this is what it looks like.
And you even saw backups like Hakeem Adeniji, right, get in there, look pretty good with the line. Burrow was pretty much an empty, right? He's just up there telling the line, and they're communicating with each other to make sure that there wasn't any free rushers. I agree with you. I think the offensive line definitely is getting better and better. We haven't seen anything similar to the first 2 weeks. They're definitely gelling. They're definitely getting on the same page, and they're protecting Burrow, which has to happen. And I think the pocket presence, you don't see him getting the yips or any of that anymore. That has been going. Got another question from Nandon. Does CTB take over Eli's spot from this point on? That's a loaded.
I'm gonna let you start. I'm gonna let you start with that one.
Eli, you my dog. You know we rock with you. You a friend of the show. I'm just going off of what I saw in this game, right? We see Eli Apple get beat on the play. We see CTB come in, and from what I saw, seemed like CTB took the majority of the reps from then on. I think we won't know until this next game happens who's going to have that spot. I still think Eli is going to always have a role on this team no matter what, right? But maybe, I don't know if it's going to be a rotation. Who knows? Because this is kind of a different, well, not really a different. It's the same kind of team in the Browns, but you will have a guy like Amari Cooper in there, right, that could possibly stretch the field. But more than likely, we're going to have Cheeto on him. This could be an opening for CTB. I didn't think it would come this fast, but it's here now. It's definitely here. It definitely seems like they've kind of shifted the CTB, but I don't think that it's completely over and it's a done deal from that standpoint. What about you, Zim?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm not a rotational cornerback type of guy. I just think like you learn a lot about who you're going up against with the flow of a football game. I do think that it's good to bring in like big dime packages, bringing in another corner or whatever. So to me, this is a crazy idea that I have. You really want to settle this? Line up 15 reps right now. Give me five Tyler Boyd, 5 T Higgins, 5 Jamar Chase is like the final boss, right? Line them reps up, let them run them joints, them two right there. Let's just figure it. Put the shot clock on the indoor whatever, on the indoor stadium, the temporary bubble. Put the shot clock on 1:20 and say, look, you better stop all these passes or whatever and let the best man win. That's a crazy mind of Zim idea, but I want pressure situations. I feel like Eli he's not scared at the moment, but I feel like Cam Taylor-Britt was taken in the second round. And I say this every single year. Second round picks are high octane, like high importance to your franchise. A lot of people have been talking about Dax Hill, let him play. Cool, I get it, but Jesse Bates is still Jesse Bates, and you're paying them $13 million to play safety, right? So you got to figure out ways to get Dax Hill on the field. I think in the Chiefs game, you'll see a lot of Dax Hill, right? That's a Dax Hill game. But like cornerback 1, cornerback 2, I just think that you got to figure out who is the guy. It's almost like a running back. They got to get reps to learn the opponent throughout the game. Maybe you give CTB reps this game because he's going up against Donovan Peoples-Jones or somebody like that this upcoming week. Maybe you let him play the whole game, right. And then you just look at the film on it and see what that looks like. Then you come back to the Panthers game and you go all Eli. But I'm not a rotational outside corner guy. I don't think that bodes well. I think like some of the cohesion and the things that the signals and different things that you're learning throughout the game with your safety communication is very important.
Right. So speaking of second round picks, so definitely got to get CTB in there, right? Dave Lennox asks, do you guys think we would trade Jackson Carman? I take an ice cream cone for him about right now. I think they have to. The issue is
somebody could take they could take Shelvin too if they want.
Exactly. Before I'm like, what do we need? Because at first I would have probably have told you a couple weeks ago, oh, let's try to find a D tackle. They got Jay Tufele. This front office has done its thing on that end, right? I might have said possibly, hey, not even really linebacker, but maybe you throw a linebacker out there. You can't say that because they got depth there. Maybe it's another offensive lineman. I'm not sure who that offensive lineman is because they already signed the guy away from the Texans that was an early draft pick that really could actually replace Carman. Should they trade him? Sure. What position? I'm actually not sure right now. I would say corner. They just got CTB back. I mean, you can't say safety. They're already loaded
Bro,
there.
I think a defensive tackle that can have pass rush, like Deron Payne, the price tag might be too pricey.
Right.
But I know that if the Commanders lose this game, they might have a quick fire sale too. And a guy that I don't know if he would beat out too many guys, but there's a guy, a wide receiver. I don't know if y'all have ever seen Cam Sims. He's like in his 5th year. He's a guy that can stretch the field somewhat, has some success in the league. If we're talking about like under the radar type guys that might relinquish like low value picks or Jackson Carman, Cam Sims is a guy with like the Durant. Like I think, and this might be a hot take. A tight end like Gronk, like you saw the Mitchell Wilcox catches in this game. People kind of missed that. Instead of going 3 for 4, you go 4 for 4. So 100% you're the most dangerous team in the NFL. Gronk has always been that guy. OBJ has always been a guy that I've always said, like, they take you over the top. If you added 1 3-tech that added pass rush, like a Deron Payne, already has 4 sacks on the year. I don't know if he got a sack this past week, but that's the type of talent that you need. But the way that Tufele's playing, you get DJ Reader back probably right after the bye. It's stacking up crazy, bro. The corner, I mean, like, say you get a corner, what are you going to do with him with CTB right there?
Right. I think I agree with you. I think the position has to be possibly wide receiver for sure, like 4th receiver, possibly guy. You already know who I want. I want that kid from Carolina. Who knows if it'll happen now at this rate with them kind of getting away from some of those guys. There's talk of, I'm not saying that they'll do it, but there is talk of Bradley Chubb being available for the Broncos. I think that's a little too rich for our blood. I would love to do it. But Osai having the game that he just had, I don't know.
Well, see, the extra 3-tech guy is like if Zach Carter doesn't get after the passer like you need. Like I watched George Karlaftis early in the season. He has been playing like a dog early in this season. I think that the Chiefs are probably looking for an extra pass rusher more so on the outside. For us, I feel like it's more interior. If they're able to add one more guy like that, I think it makes the cornerback's job so much easier. And but I would say that the Bengals had the number 1 roster in football just by adding one more defensive tackle that gives you pass rush. And that's kind of crazy. I feel like they're the 3rd, 4th best roster right now. Adding that one guy or adding that one Gronk. And if the Bengals know if you see what I see, you're not going to have this opportunity again after this season. After you pay T. Higgins and company, guys like that, Logan Wilson's of the world, I'm already that there's no way you can keep all the linebackers. But this is your chance. And I'm really looking for them to make that one big move because say one of those guys go down on the defensive line. You just learned from the past season, one Ogunjobi, look how it looked in the Super Bowl. Matt Stafford had all that time. Still threw 2 picks, but he had all that time. There was no interior pressure later in that game that could have ended that game, and we wouldn't even be talking about us just making a Super Bowl appearance.
Right. Got another question from our producer of the show, Ryan, behind the scenes, representing Wincinnati, is going to ask, has the heat come off Zach Taylor as a play caller? I think it has. I mean, just 3 episodes ago, I was sitting here calling for the man's job. I wanted to see if after one game that he could bounce back and do some consistency and bring that consistency. I think we've seen it. I mean, sure, there's always going to be things that you can take away from Zach in this game. Some people might talk about, hey, he should have challenged the Higgins call or whatever, but that's not play calling, right? Like, I think, like Joe Burrow said the week before in New Orleans, they realized what kind of team that they were. One of the challenges that I extended to him was, hey, figure out this cover 2. You got to figure out what that is. Teams are going to keep playing it against you. He's figured that out. He's figured out what they need to do. He's figured out when they need to run. This man is running the cute quarterback sneaks. I talked all last season about my frustrations with him not doing that. He's doing that this season. I think that a lot of heat has really come off of him. I think that there still may be little instances, but it won't be to the point where it's like me saying, hey, you got to get a new play caller and get him out of there. I think he's been calling some great games lately, and I'm proud to admit that I was wrong, and I'm glad that he did prove me wrong, and we have improved with these weapons that we've seen, because we all know we should be dropping at least 30, right? 30. They asked Joe Burrow that today. They said, when the Bengals score 25 or more points, there it is. And Joe was like, I don't want 25. I want 30. And that's
Talk to him, Joe.
30 pieces. 30 pieces on them.
Talk to him, Joe. Get shiesty on him. Like, hey, bro, I don't know what these other teams be doing, bro. I'm having fun. Like, even when we were losing, I had these nights where I would like stay up, watch some stuff, see what I like, see what I did. And it's exciting to figure out like the problem solve sometimes and stuff. And then when you hear like, and we're going to get to Zach Taylor and talking about the Joe Burrow throws later and stuff. Like when you get the players start to have fun, start to see things like you're seeing it is dope. Like I want Joe to go up there and say, bro, we should be putting 35, 40. We should be the highest scoring team in football because we really should. And anybody that was calling for Zach to step his game up on a play calling tip, you not wrong. And I was kind of in the same boat too. I was like, yeah, he better fix it. I don't think he's 100% off the high seat because one thing is coming too is right after that bye, there's going to be some adjustments to that. And they got to be able to make the adjustments on the fly. The difference between elite coaching isn't these guys that are calling, like there's 9 routes in a route tree, right? But it isn't guys calling up the best routes. It's guys making adjustments on the fly in real time and not waiting till a game is over. And that's the difference a lot of times between winning and losing. And I think you have to give credit if you are very, very loud about fire Zach or you want Zach or whatever. I appreciate you saying what you said because I was in the same boat about the play calling. He stepped his game up. He adapted, said, hey, look, Chiefs and Bills, they going shotgun 90% of the time. Run stuff, we going to stop that crap early in the game. It's not working for us. The zone blocking that we want, that we envision our team to have, it's not working to us. We're going to go straight to a gap scheme. And even if you're a Zach hater or whatever, you have to appreciate that. And if you don't appreciate that, then I question your Bengals fandom. Like, what are you really here for? And I just think that Zach did what great coaches do, adapt on the fly, make those things happen, and you see it come out and translate on the field. On the field, you get the good press conferences and the good interviews afterwards where they talking about, yeah, I was butt ball naked and all this stuff. Like people start to let that stuff fly a little bit, and you get to get a little bit of sauce in your life. You get to figure out why the world is talking about this trio, like in all these different things, or why we real hype about like the defense and stuff. They got swag, bro, and when you're winning and your coaches are making adjustments and you get Jamar Chase on a mic'd up saying, hey, great game call, Zach, good stuff, Zach. Like that's what it is, like, because we want to win. We want to win. This Wincinnati,
they always have each other's back. That's what I love about this team. No matter what,
yes.
We saw Uno with the grill back in, had that smile on his face. Speaking of smiles, talk to him about our friends at Pierce Dental in Fountain Square in Cincinnati.
Summertime is coming, which means gathering and fun in the sun. Is your smile ready? Do you need a dentist? Well, then head over to Pierce Dental Group office that's been downtown for over 80 years. New office that was built in 2015, located at 425 Walnut Street, Suite 201, Fountain Square, Cincinnati, Ohio. Once again, that's located at 425 Walnut Street, Suite 201, Fountain Square. Confidence starts here. Go where the pros go. Go next level. Your smile is your brand.
Definitely. Shout out to them. I think our friend of the show, Chris Evans, was just down there, got some work done. You can definitely get your work done. Definitely support local, support Cincinnati. He's a huge diehard Bengals fan. T. Higgins was just in the office looking at one of the paintings that I have behind me. From my man Sean Volker. So definitely be sure to check him out. Let him know that Ace and Zim sent you, and let him know that you listen to the Wincinnati Bengals podcast. Let's get into it now. The Bengals are rewriting the record books, all these crazy things. Joe Burrow, more 400 plus passing games by a player in their first 3 seasons. The last time that was done, Dan Marino. This dude is doing more than him. He's the first person to ever do that. He's resetting the history book. He's playing college football on Sundays, people. These numbers are crazy. I feel like that's how we were introduced to Burrow, right? We talk about that game where he was in the playoffs that ended the whole Chase Young thing. Dude threw 7 touchdowns. He comes into the NFL, I don't know, 3rd season, doing something that nobody has ever done before. This is where this confidence comes from. When we talk about Joe Burrow and we say that he's different and he's not a human and this dude is on another level. What are your thoughts about this 400 plus passing games in his first 3 seasons. Him already having that record.
Bro, it's incredible, man. You know, everybody has their own cup of tea on who they prefer at quarterback, and I have no problem with that at all. The cerebral part of Joe Burrow is something that legends are born with. Like you think about how we got here, what happened this rookie season, how did we arrive at this point today? I can't tell you how excited I am about the future of this Bengals team, because everything that we always wanted, you know, is all coming into fruition. Like, and it's just happening right. And you're literally, when we have these shows, when we're talking about this stuff right now, history. And I hope people understand, like, you're a part of like history every single day that we champion like all these different things that Burrow's doing. And these are the stories that people tell people later on in time. And I'm really, really excited about the future. I think Joe Burrow is not only is an example, and this isn't a shot to take out Herbert, so I want to make sure I phrase it correctly. Herbert is an outstanding talent, but Joe Burrow is what a leader that the city of Cincinnati needed, the Bengals fan base needed, from a personality standpoint, from a swag standpoint, a confidence standpoint, and then the clutch gene to kind of null and void the PTSDs from the misfortunes of your past.
For sure.
You're getting that on top of these record-breaking performances. Me and Ryan backstage were talking with and Ace was, we were all talking, and we were talking about like the 500-yard, you know, the 400-yard games.
Only one player in NFL history that has had 2 games of 500 plus total yards and 4 TDs. Another one.
And think about that game, like when we let off the show. If I question some of these other teams, like I remember watching Bills opening night and how they kind of ran it up on them a little bit. Like I thought the Bengals did what they had to do to create the separation, but a part of like football that people don't talk about, and I think our fan base is a reflection of this. There's a lot of teams that would have scored that touchdown at the very end. And I think that's a reflection on how the sportsmanship and how we feel about football. It's not necessary to go running up on them dudes like after you done kicked the crap out of them. They were already defeated. You were at the 4-yard line with like 40 seconds left, first down. They could have just got an easy touchdown. They could have scored way before there. And I just think that to do this stuff and be at the top of the league and you not even like a Falcons fan should be like, they should be leading with that straight up to me. They should be coming in, instead of saying y'all play practice squad play, they should be saying, hey, look, bro, like I'm gonna tell y'all straight up, if it was us, we probably would have ran that joint and got another touchdown off that thing for real. Right. But we nailed it out for real. And when I think about like 40 points in the context, people use context sometimes when they want to support them losing the game. Let me give you some context let me give you some stats that don't need no context. Currently, right now, passing yards in the NFL, Joe Burrow is 2,097 yards. This is only not even 100 yards behind the leader, Patrick Mahomes, in the NFL through 7 weeks of football. Passing touchdowns, 15. He's third in the NFL. Completion percentage, he's third, 68.9. Passer rating, 102.7. Time sack, at the top of the league. Rushing touchdowns, he's second in the NFL. Yards per attempt, he's top 8. And we talking about all of this after Joe Burrow threw 4 interceptions in the first week of football. Hello, world. Here come the Bengals.
The Migos too. What is that? What's that number? The only team in the NFL.
The Bengals are the only teams in the NFL with 3 wide receivers. And this is the crazy thing I'm going to tell you about what they'll do psychologically about it for clickbait and to have conversations online that they won't tell you, us Bengals fans. They always present the fact that who's got the best duo, who's got the best 2. And every single time I'm in the comments like, yeah, but there's a third guy you're not talking about, a third guy that would start for probably about 30-40% of the NFL as their number 1 or their number 2 wide receiver. He just happens to be a guy that we really, really like, named Tyler Boyd, that has that was on fire last week. 455 yards on the season with T. Higgins. Jamar Chase, the only 3 wide receivers last year that had 800 yards or more. And remember, had they played the last game of the season, they could have all had 1,000. This season right now, the only trio with 400 yards or more, Jamar Chase is currently on pace. After all that said and done, after they wrote you off and you was 0-2, Jamar Chase is on pace to have more yards and more touchdowns than he had in his record-setting season. Hello. Are you on tonight?
And they don't just play offense. They play defense too. The first team, I know you've heard this stat everywhere, but we're going to keep talking about it. The first team since 1950 to not allow an offensive touchdown in the second half of their first 7 games. Nobody, like the Falcons didn't really score. They didn't score in the second half, bro. They didn't. There was no points, touchdowns, none of that. This team is legit, bro. When they go into halftime, I feel like this started all the way back last year against the Chiefs in week 17, right? Stopping them from coming out in the next half and doing anything. They did it to them again once they went up. This team, what Lou Anarumo is doing, what all of these defensive players are doing, they're here, bro. They're humming. You can talk about them not being big names and all of that. That's not going to last for long. You're going to know the names. After this defense does what it does, after they continue to prove it week in and week out, you're going to know the names. You're going to know who Trey Hendrickson is, even though he was a top 100 NFL player before he got here. You're going to know who Cheeto is because he's shutting down your number one every single week. You're going to know who Mike Hilton is because he's going to hit you with a blitz. You're going to know who Logan Wilson is because he will pick you off and he can drop back in coverage against your wide receiver. You're going to know who Jermaine Pratt is too because he's filling in for him and you think that there's going to be a hole, but there's really not. This entire team, bro, Jesse Bates, Von Bell, like this defense is real. It's legit. It's not a game. Legit. They are not playing with you. And you know what it's going to be.
In the last 3 games, the Bengals are only second in the NFL only by 3 yards as far as the least amount of passing yards relinquished. Now, I do realize that 3 teams that they played aren't a big, throwing threats, but it is to be said that the passing defense currently is 8th in the NFL as far as passing yards allowed. But in the last 3 weeks, only the Rams have better passing yards relinquished at 149 yards per game. Are we cooking? Hello? Is this thing on?
Oh, we're cooking, and we are making unbelievable plays. And you know who makes unbelievable wings? Our friends at Midwest Best Barbecue, who also were turning up at Sunday's game.
They cooking dirty birds over there.
Yeah, we cooking some Falcon at
Rising
Midwest
up.
Best Barbecue.
Wings, and we got you with them on our wings. On our wings. They tell me that them on our wings will make you do the gritty. Them on our wings will make you do the gritty. On our wings, come and get them on our wings, who they gonna beat them on our wings, and we got you with them on our wings, they tell me that them on our wings will make you do the gritty, them on our wings will make you do the gritty.
Man, shout out to Midwest Best Barbecue. I saw a story this weekend that warmed my heart. They're located at 669 Justice Court. We had some Bengals fans from across the pond that have been waiting to travel for, I think, 18 years, right? And they were at this game. But do you know where they stopped at before they went to the game? They stopped at Midwest Best Barbecue, got them some Uno wings, said that it was worth every single bite. We appreciate that. I feel like that means that they listen to our podcast and they support us. So if you're in the Cincinnati area or you're in town for a game, stop by Midwest Best Barbecue. Get you some Uno wings. Get you anything. They even brought the ribs back if that's your thing. They're going to get you settled, and they're huge diehard Bengals fans. So if you support us, support them. We're not just telling you that the wings are good. Go look at Greg Luther's timeline right now. I'm sure that he probably is eating some Midwest Best Barbecue right now. He has a tradition where it seems like he's there almost at least once a week, and he's bringing people there. If you haven't been there, check him out. My man Delta Kilo that just talked about unbelievable plays on defense. He told me that those Uno wings were unbelievable when we sat down and had them at Midwest Best Barbecue.
Shout out. Hey, look, real quick, shout out to everybody that's in this evening, whatever. When we win, I understand there's going to be more people. Just make sure, you keep on supporting us. Make sure y'all check out newstripecity.com. Make sure you try check out zimhude.com. And above all, even if you don't buy anything right now, make sure you hit that like and that subscribe button right now while we're in here, while we're feeling good and while everything is 100% like on the rise. On the rise up.
Make sure you follow us on Twitter. I'm going to tell you, Bengals fans, I need y'all right now. I'm doing a one-chip challenge
yeah.
with my man Quincy, who represents the Browns. If y'all watch AFC North Talk, y'all don't like Quincy, right? Y'all want to see him eat a one hot chip on air? Follow me. I got to get to 10,000 followers before he does. I've got like 9,000 now. He's got, I think, close to 9,000. I need y'all to follow me. Do whatever you do. I will follow you back. It doesn't matter, at New Stripe City. Also follow them as well, because we're going to be on Spaces this week going crazy, giving you that content that you want to hear. Also follow the Bengals post Twitter as well, because those guys do some great stuff over there, as well as our man Just Eric.
Yes.
All right, man. Which play of Joe's career was his best throw? There was a lot of talk about Chase. He caught him in between the safety and the corner, dropped it right into the breadbasket. But Zachary had his thoughts, and he said, nah, that's not the best one. The best one was the Titans game where he just turned around. Was it the Jamar Chase one that we just saw this past weekend against?
If y'all watching this on YouTube, oh my God, what a dot.
Yeah, and if you're listening in the car, watch the YouTube video, because we're showing all the highlights. You can catch all of that stuff there. But Zim, to you, was either of those two that they brought up the best passer of his career, or was it another one that maybe we're not talking about?
The one I always bring up, and I thought it was like nostalgia of just like, early Joe Burrow, me kind of, like you just kind of repping hard. It's got to be Tyler Boyd versus the Titans rookie season. Throws the ball, drops that thing like, if you're on this is why y'all got to subscribe to the YouTube. We got the magician Ryan backstage just pulling the clips up. Oh my God!
You didn't even know it was going to Tyler.
What a beam!
And then it's just
like what a laser. Like the timing of that throw is so disgusting. Like where is that throw? There's so many Joe Burrow throws. Bro, I'm gonna reference that one. What about the Tyler Boyd throw in the back of the? Now I know that people say that the whistle blew or whatever. Joe Burrow tight roping on the sideline, throwing that joint in the Raiders game, and in that same game, the throw that he had to Uzama. Oh my God! But to me, the number one throw is gotta be Joe Burrow's rookie season, the one we're showing currently right now. If you're listening to this podcast. Joe Burrow throws this thing, and I mean, like when he threw it, I remember this, and this is going against, to give you a little bit of context, this is going against a team that we had no business being in the business with. This is the number one seed Titans. Joe Burrow goes out there and slays them, cooks them up something terrible. At the time, they're 5-2, a game that we were supposed to get blown out. Brand new offensive line. He goes out there, talks them boys up. Quentin Spain getting his first start ever at left guard. In this clip, you can see him pushing some boys, but he throws that ball in a spot I
think I got one, bro.
I just think that's wild.
I think I got one, and it may be because of, and it's not either of these two. And I'm not gonna say that it's better than these, because I kind of agree with you on this Titans one. Remember that Eagles one? Remember the one where he was going against the Eagles and Zach told him to throw it away? Zach was like,
and he threw it at T. Higgins on the sideline.
He ends up finding T. Higgins on the sideline.
You know he did that twice though in his rookie season though. So when sometimes people reference that one, didn't he do that against the Browns or something too though? Where he like scrambles and gets out of there and then he throws it to T on the sideline. I feel like he did it in the Titans game and I feel like he did it in that Eagles game. And he would go and roll out to the right.
Yeah,
he got some throws, bro, that are like super.
He got some crazy throws, bro. Like the ones, especially the ones where he like gets out of it. Like you even talk about some of the plays that he's made. Like this,
that's when he gets shiesty.
He's gonna be a human highlight reel. I think. Like I don't think it's over yet. I think it's still a lot of throws to be written.
The legend of Joe Burrow is just like it's starting to. You win these next couple games right now, and then you think about this is a Monday night primetime game. Here go. So if you're watching this on YouTube, this is nasty.
This is nasty. Oh, let me turn around. All right. Then let me stare. I'm falling out of bounds. Bro. This dude is different, man. When we saw this, that's what's crazy, because when we were telling people like, yeah, we might have lost that game or tied that game. But Joe is that dude. Like, he's really that dude, bro. He's really
he got another one on the sideline like that, too, where he gets shicey. I think the whole shiesty, sometimes I'll be saying, they be like, man, Joe, like opposing fans, they hate when we say shiesty, but like that's when I think of Joe Shiesty, sometimes when he get to Dylan and he start getting out of stuff like that and he start the Uchi Wally all in that pocket like that and just making them dance. Look at them boys dancing.
And by the way, y'all, they always try to say
Fletcher Cox, who is that?
Joe just got good. That was AJ Green. That was Tyler Boyd. That was T. Higgins. That was Drew Sample in there. This is what this dude was doing his rookie season, just cooking. I mean, Joe is gonna cook regardless. So let's talk about fans of Cincy. Browns preview coming this Thursday. Fans of Cincy is going to do something in Tennessee. Definitely be sure to check that out. Get you some Nashville hot chicken. They're going to make sure that you're in the prime location for the game. They're going to make sure that your hotel is taken care of. Even if you don't want to go to the Nashville one, they probably have a tailgate. So if you're a Bengals fan coming from out of town, pull up at the tailgate. Even if you don't book with them, you can buy a ticket, get a wristband, get in there, get some good food. They're going to make sure that you're taken care of. And then if you want to come down my way for Florida, they're going to have also possible tickets available for the Bucs game. Now, they have sold out of a lot of these things, so you might want to check up with them, email them, reach out to them, because since they've had success this season, a lot of people have started to book with them. So check out fansofcincy.com. Our guy over there is definitely doing this thing. Dusko, he does a great trip. They're gonna make sure that you get from the airport to your hotel, everywhere. They're gonna have it all planned out for you. All you got to do is pull up at your hotel, give them your name, let them know that you're there with fans of Cincy. They get you taken care of, and you'll also get tickets to the game as well. But Zem, it's gonna be a crazy week coming up here, man. I think is it Halloween?
Man, it's going. Hey, look, I'm gonna tell you straight up. There's a lot of people that are gonna pop up, and it's gonna get crazy at a lot of different points. I think this week, and I'm really excited about the game. Do you have any quick thoughts about the game? Like quick.
This is not a Bengals team. I think that you want to be dealing with coming off of a game where these guys just put up nearly 300 yards as a receiving core. Do you really want to? What was it? It's on site. Is it really on site? I think it's on site. I think on Monday Night Football, it's going to be on site. And I think it's going to be a little spooky.
Hello. I want to talk to everybody tonight. Coming up on Monday, I was told that the Brownies will fight. I heard that Denzel wanted smoke with the Eagles. Is that Prescott? Prescott! The Eagles are coming to town on Monday night, and it's going to get real spooky. I don't know if you heard about Burrow. Wow, 316! See you on Monday!
That was my man Zim Hude. It's going to get very spooky for them. Appreciate you guys for watching and tuning in to the Wincinnati podcast. We will be back this Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's going to be a scary one.
Yes. Hello, world. We got a special show as always. TJ Houshmandzada, Jimmy Chase, Coach Jimmy Burrow.
How do you balance being a professional athlete and family obligation? These are top 5 Bengals of all time.
All time? Yeah. Shock the world.